Hey guys, just waiting for some people to come in. I have actually not been live on YouTube in a very long time. And I'm actually going to go shut my door 1 second. How's everybody doing? Let's see. I don't even know my way around. Oh, there's the chat. Hi guys. Why don't you guys drop a word in the chat for how you're feeling these energies? Oh, thank you. So funny story. I somehow thought that the eclipse was tomorrow. And now that I think about it, that was just a complete brain fart on my end. I was doing a lot of charts for other places in the world this week, and I kept talking to them about December 4th, December 4th, December 4th, because it was on their timeline, and then that got lodged in my brain, and I was just sitting here about to film the video and pulled up the chart and was like, oh shit, the eclipse is literally going to happen in a couple hours. Drained, insecure. So anyway, I thought that I would just pop on live. So the eclipse is actually this evening on Pacific Standard Time at 11:43 p.m. But in other areas of the world, it's on the 4th. Okay, yes, I'm going to actually talk a little bit about my course really quick. Somebody mentioned it in the chat. So I am offering a transit course. It's going to be on December 12th. It's on transits, and it is a course that's a little bit more advanced. So it's not a beginner's course, but it is a course for someone who knows their way around their chart, meaning they know their natal planets by sign and house, and are interested in diving into transits. This is going to cover transits of outer planets. So that's Jupiter through Pluto. And we're going to be looking at casting your transits for the next 12 months. So if you're interested in that course, shoot me an email, coyotestarastrology@gmail.com. I have about 10 slots left. It's pretty affordable. It's going to be super awesome. Probably about a 2-hour course. So if you're interested in it, do reach out to me and we can hopefully get you a spot. All right, so I'm going to dive in to these eclipse energies. It is a solar eclipse in Sagittarius at 12 degrees at the south node of the moon, which of course ushers in these themes around the Sagittarius Gemini axis that we have been dealing with for about a year and a half collectively. I'm pretty sick of it, to be honest. This has been a grueling journey through the South Node Sagittarius, North Node Gemini axis. The reason for that being a majority of that journey, both nodes were square to the planet Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, in Pisces, which made the truth very difficult to locate, as Gemini and Sagittarius are both concerned with the pursuit of knowledge and truth. Both go about it in different ways, but because the nodes were square to Neptune, this has made deception a key thing that we've all been dealing with for a long time. So I have been feeling into the field over the last week, and I'm actually very curious to see how you guys have been feeling this coming in. I'm pretty sure it's related to the eclipse because it was really highlighted today. I've been feeling in the collective over the last, I would say, week, this unsettling, setting in of, I want to say, collective dread, as I think a majority of the people that took this are beginning to realize potentially they've made a mistake based on the information that has been streaming out about the new variant and going into these new mandates once again, which of course is not coming to a surprise to a lot of us. But I am getting the sense that some people are feeling this. Wait a second. What's going on? What's something's not right. That's a good way of putting it. Something's not right. And I just want to check and see how you guys, is anybody else feeling that, getting that sense? I mean, in a lot of ways, I don't know how you couldn't be feeling that. But it's disheartening and it's really sad. I feel some collective anxiety for some uneasy. Yeah, it's oh wow, conjunct your natal Neptune, amazing. Yeah, I'm feeling for people out there, I guess is what I want to say. And so I guess I'll go into the astrology a little bit about why I think that that's occurring. So the new moon in Sagittarius coming in this evening is positioned at the South Node in Sagittarius, which is about past beliefs, past philosophies, past theories or convictions or dogmas. And the ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter, is squaring Mars, which is a very combative, aggressive energy. So if we attach this to Sagittarius, this shows past beliefs that we may have clung to very strongly, maybe even defended, defending our version of reality or our version of truth. However, this eclipse is pushing energy towards collective growth towards the North Node in Gemini. And the North Node in Gemini is about new information. It rules the media, it rules data, and mental flexibility. So that North Node in Gemini, and thank God for it in a sense, is giving us yet another flood of information. And this information is very odd in nature. And that's actually represented by the North Node ruler. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is our chart ruler for the North Node. And Mercury is in Sagittarius, being squared by Neptune. So Mercury in Sagittarius is about highest truth, but when it's squared by Neptune, there's something off about it. There's something potentially even deceptive or confusing. And that kind of perfectly illustrates what we're seeing right now, right? There's this new variant that has a ridiculous name. I can't even remember how to say it. And I probably shouldn't on this channel because I'm shadow banned enough. And then, of course, we have the media really pushing for more boosters, more boosters, more boosters. And, these poor people who have gotten this jab out of fear or out of what they feel is compassion for their community or their family members, God bless them. And now they're really in it, and they must be coming to the realization that it isn't going to stop. They've now given their freedom away, and now if they don't get the boosters, they're going to be treated like a unjabbed person. So they're really in it pretty deeply. I'm just going to check in with you guys real quick to see what you guys are talking about regarding this. Let's see. Yeah, so it seems like we're kind of on the same page here. So tired of the pressure to get the jab. I know, you guys, and just want to give so much support and admiration to those of you that are sticking to your guns about this, because the pressure is so intense. It's so real. One of my followers on my Truther account. I don't know if you guys know, I have a Truther account. I'm going to put it in the chat. People are always asking me for the name of that when I don't put it up. Okay, Hyokra's Hideout 1. Okay, so that's my Truther account. Anyway, somebody over there alerted me today. I literally couldn't believe it, that the emoji on our text, on our iPhones, you know, the little vaccine emoji, how it used to be full of blood, it's now clear. It's literally, they've taken the blood out. So now it's not like a blood drawing needle, it's a vaccine needle. That shook me. It shook me in the same way that the marquees on the freeway do, that tell traffic to get a booster. Because it's those seemingly small, random gestures that really prove how nefarious these forces are, because we well know that our governments do not care that much for the well-being of their citizens. It's just, anyone who still believes that they do is living in a fantasy reality that I don't understand how you could believe that. So for these changes to be made in the emojis and the marquees, I saw it on a bus stop the other day. The benches where you wait for the bus, where they have those posters behind the glass, there was a poster of a woman getting vaccinated and it said, "Do your part." I mean, it's everywhere. And it's, yes, mental manipulation. I mean, that is Gemini squared by Neptune. And it's, the psychological warfare is so intense because this agenda has been executed so intelligently that I often wonder if it is AI, because the wow, I'm going into it on this, aren't I? We'll see how long my channel stays up. I've tried not to go into too much of this stuff on here, but oh well. Yeah, the level of psychological warfare is so deep. And like I said, the agenda has been executed so intelligently that they've managed through politics to divide us so expertly that they now have half of the population policing the other half, by labeling us as dangerous conspiracy theorists or whatever. So that's a thing. And, you know, I really think it's only a matter of time before the really strict travel restrictions come back, because when you understand how this sort of stuff is rolled out, they do it in little steps as not to cause panic and hysteria. So you'll notice if you tune in, and I actually do check world news on mainstream media every morning, not because I trust it, but because by checking the headlines that come up, if you just Google world news, by checking the headlines, you can start to anticipate the chess moves of what's going on. And like clockwork, right around the holidays when people were trying to spend time with their families and regain a sense of stability, this new variant starts spreading around. For as far as I know, there's not even a test for it. So and right away, we start seeing the first moves being made towards the big mandates again. First comes needing to be tested, less time before your flight. So now I believe it's 24 hours. The mask mandates start coming back. And then before you know it, they turn it up and we're right back in full on again. So we're coming into that second or that third Saturn square Uranus, which will which will tighten up this month. So I'm sure none of you are surprised to hear this, but it is going to get more intense throughout this month. And next year is looking quite interesting. And I will do a whole live on that later. But what I will say, just to give you kind of my overarching feeling for 2022, looking at the astrology, I sat down to look at the chart for 2022. I went through month by month a few days ago, and part of me was leaping out of my chair because the transits are just some of them are so beautiful if you're on the right side of history. And there's many reasons why I say that. Again, I won't go into them too deeply right now because I want to stay on topic, but I see potential for quantum leaps in all the right areas for those who have not given their power away. I do see collective hardship, economically, particularly. We're going to have the South Node go into Scorpio in January. And Scorpio is where we have a lot of the dark stuff come up. So I don't want to project any dark spells onto the situation. So I'm going to be very careful with my words, but it doesn't look good for certain individuals. But let's go back into the eclipse energies that we're feeling now. I've talked a bit about how I'm experiencing that collectively right now, but on an individual level, in all of your charts, of course, it's important to know what house this Sagittarius eclipse is impacting your chart. And of course, important to know where the North Node is. Where the South Node is where you may be encountering your previous held ideologies or beliefs that may be defragmenting a little bit or going through a transformation in order to bring you into that North Node. Wherever the North Node is hitting your chart by house is where you're being encouraged to experiment or be flexible. The North Node in Gemini is in my 3rd house, which rules media. And what did I decide to do? Kind of by accident tonight. I'm doing a YouTube live, which I literally never do. I have issues with this platform. I keep putting videos up because I've been doing it so long and you guys seem to enjoy them, but it's frustrating to not be able to speak truthfully and transparently on this platform. So that's a real life example of how, in the past I have done things a certain way, and then today was really feeling like exploring flexibility in the way that I teach, in the way that I show up, in the way that I communicate, etc. So yeah, feeling into the last week or so, really looking at your beliefs, looking at your stories, looking at your attachments to the way that you view your reality and your future, and discovering and feeling into how this eclipse might be encouraging you to look at it a different way, try something different. Notice where maybe you've been fixated on a certain truth or a certain outcome, but perhaps in the last week or so, maybe there's some insights into how that might be going through some kind of evolution or transformation to bring you into a new place. That being said, knowing exactly where we're going and what we're doing is really difficult right now. I don't really know many people who have certainty at the moment. And a lot of that is because of that Saturn-Uranus square. Uranus is destabilizing Saturn. Saturn wants to know what's happening. It wants to find that stability and that commitment. But with Uranus squaring that space, it's just, we're just going through wave after wave of needing to become adaptable, needing to digest and assimilate that our future might look much different than we were raised to believe. I mean, we're being hit at every angle. You know, I live with two incredible young women. One of them really wants to go to school and she can't. And I mean, there's so many stories like that. It's insane. I talk to you guys on a daily basis in my sessions, and I mean, I know people that have gone to school for over a decade whose career literally just went down the toilet, and now there's this, and this is the part that really excites me, there's this movement of so many of you, and there's more of you than you think, that are now going to be essentially splitting off from society and starting a new one. And it hasn't really started yet, I think, because of the destabilization of Saturn, you know, but it's going to come in. It's going to come in, and it's going to be really something once that gets started. But right now people are still, you know, grappling with the change. Sad for Santos, they are sucking him. He hasn't even mourned his dad. I don't know anything about that. What do you mean? Oh no. I'll have to check in with him. Shoot. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I haven't talked to Santos in a month or so. Or actually more. I think like three months. Okay. Well, and just and this is like a little tail end to Scorpio season in a way, because the South Node ruler Jupiter is squaring Mars in Scorpio. This can also be an eclipse where we feel compelled to release some of the lingering shadow elements that may have been unearthed in Scorpio season. So anything that's toxic, anything that's like addictions or manipulative situations or whatever, there can be a little bit of that coming in as well. But yeah, I thought that I would share a little personal story with you about my my journey with South Node Sagittarius, North Node Gemini, that we've been going through over the last 18 months or so. So I shared in a previous video, I think, when was that? Was that last winter or this summer? I can't remember. I shared with you guys here on this platform about, oh, hey, Steven. I shared with you guys here on this platform about my journey with my nutrition. And this is just such a perfect example because I am a Sag. I was a very dogmatic vegan for a very long time. And I was an activist and I went to slaughterhouses, and I still am an animal rights activist, believe it or not. Although many vegans would have my head for saying that, considering I do eat animal products now. But yeah, so that was a previous held philosophy that I had, and I had it for a long time. And this decision to not eat animals was, some of it was for what I thought was health reasons, but most of it for me was for moral reasons. And so I made that switch over the last 18 months, and it did not come easily. It was very hard. And I really only decided to introduce animal products because of my health, which started to fail pretty badly. But I've already gone into that here. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is that I've been musing through not only that situation, but many over the last year and a half, that so much of our reality and our perception of truth is based around our perception or our perspective. And that's a very tricky thing, because if you can get in someone else's seat and see it from their perspective, suddenly your view can shift. So in addition to that story, as I've continued on this path with my diet and having it unfold, it was really torturing me for a while, because I was seeing my health improve, but I was still feeling a lot of guilt and really just wanting to do the right thing. That's really what it came down to, was like, my body is telling me that this is right, but my mind is telling me that this is really fucked up. And I can't live with myself if I'm doing it wrong, basically. And so I was talking to a lot of different people about it. It was really, really upsetting. And my friend Connie, if you happen to be watching this live, I love you so much. She said something to me that really impacted me. So we were on a call, and I sort of, with guilt, shared with her that I was eating meat, but that I wasn't feeling good about it. And she said, and she's somebody that I really respect. I think that that's why it really impacted me. She said, Alex, and this is just her perspective, right? She said, when a mammal incarnates onto this earth, it knows that something is going to eat it eventually. It's either going to be eaten by a predator, or it's going to be eaten, that's just nature. That's the way that it works. And if a conscious, empathetic, and compassionate human can transfer that animal's soul to its next incarnation with honor, would that not be the best scenario? And it affected me, but the process continued to unfold further, because I wasn't convinced, but I was like, that's a really interesting way to look at it. So, and I'll never forget this. It was really shamanic and powerful. So it was actually in the shower. I was in the shower later that night, and I was thinking about what she said, and I was really putting myself in the position of being hunted. I was actually imagining myself as a deer. I really, really connect with deer medicine, and I can't ever imagine killing a deer, but I went there. I went there in my mind, and I became the deer, and I became the huntress. And I realized that the dynamic between the hunted and the huntress, or the hunter, is one of the oldest existing archetypes that we have. And I walked myself through the process of following this animal, connecting with this animal, appreciating this animal. And then I followed myself through the process of walking through the forest up to this animal and taking its life, right? And I was crying. I was there, you guys. I really went through this process, and imagine this animal's soul leaving its body and going on to its next experience or whatever. And I was covered in goosebumps, because it was like, that has got to be one of the most intimate and powerful and just intense situations that there could ever be. And if it was done with reverence, I was really astonished. I had never really thought about it before. I had always had a lot of judgments around hunting, and I still do, because it's I'm presenting a very um, idealistic scenario, and I realize this. Like I said, I'm still an animal rights activist. I detest factory farming. I think it's satanic. I would never support that industry. I've been to the slaughterhouses. I know what's going on, and it's not okay. But I guess my point is that something that I had had so much judgment around suddenly became hauntingly beautiful. And I was just like, who the fuck am I right now? Like, really? Like, a few months ago, I was a vegan, and now I'm fantasizing about killing a deer. What the fuck is going on? But I think that's a really good example for me of the type of mind-bending, humbling journey that we have all been on in one way or another, where we may have had to change our beliefs or realize that a way that we previously categorized reality and attached meaning to reality might be going through a change. And for each person, this change is going to be very different. But my partner is vegan. He's just as dogmatic about it as I used to be. It's one of the things that we first connected about, actually. So you can imagine it's been an interesting journey within our union, and he's been incredibly supportive, but it's been very triggering, and there's been lots of tears and conversations, but now we've settled into like just philosophy around it, and realizing that we don't know the truth of what's right or wrong. There's the belief that no one should ever take the life of another animal because we don't have that right. And the truth is, I don't know. I don't know the answer. But I'm searching for it. And I have a willingness to be wrong again. I really do. Who knows? In 5 years, I could be doing another video where I have another experience, and you know what I mean? But that's that Gemini flexibility of, I thought I was right. Turns out I might not be. Let's explore, let's experiment, let's try something new. And it's hard, you know, it's, it's, it's hard. And to bring it back to the collective and back to the feeling that I have been feeling into over this last week or two, is that a lot of people are realizing that about the agenda right now. Oh shit, I thought Biden was the right president. Turns out he's kind of just as bad as all the rest of them, if not worse. I don't even want to play that game because they're all a bunch of fucking criminals and awful. Um, oh, I mean, there's so many different things, everywhere you turn. And I think the importance is remaining flexible and open to the new information. And trust me, as Sagittarius, that is not easy to do. Hi, I'm totally fine. I was just telling a somber story about a deer. No, I'm good. Thank you for asking. All right. Let me think. Was there anything else? Why don't we do a little Q&A, a little bit, and then I'll sign off. Just going back up to read a few of your comments. What was the health issue? There was a lot going on. I think the best way to put it was my immune system was attacking itself, mixed with hormone imbalances, mixed with being underweight, not having enough healthy fats. I really think that that's what it came down to. As soon as I introduced the fish and the bone broth, I have a picture actually on my Truther account, which I'll put up again. On my Truther account, if you go in my stories under health, I have a picture of myself vegan and then a year later non-vegan, and it's honestly astonishing. It's one of those things where you look back at a photo and you're like, I can't believe I thought I looked okay. I look like I'm fucking dying in that picture. And then the next picture, I look much better. And how has my health changed since eating animal products? I feel much more grounded. And that's manifested in the physical. I had incredibly low blood pressure when I was vegan. It was scary. Every time I went to the doctor, they were like, you're not okay. Your blood pressure is really low. I was cold all the time. I would get dizzy every time I stood up, to the point where I just forgot that that wasn't normal. It wasn't even until I started eating meat and that stopped happening that I realized, oh, you're not supposed to feel like you're going to fall over every time you stand up. Yeah, I would say those are the main things. Feeling much more strong in myself. Feeling like, before I felt very frail, and not quite like here. I felt transparent when I was eating raw and eating vegan. So for me, that has been a really good switch. But again, I mean, diet is so, for the individual. It's not a one size fits all. And I truly believe that now. And I feel bad because I used to, some of you guys used to follow me on Instagram. I used to be very judgmental about people that ate animals. And, we have those moments in life. We grow up, we learn more, and then we realize, and then we're more careful moving forward, about how we make those assumptions. When do you think segregated communities based on political beliefs happen? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? I don't know if I understand the question, but I would love to answer it. I just don't know if I understand. Thank you, guys. What do you think is the end game for humanity? God, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I feel like transhumanism is inevitable. And I have kind of like a funny reason for believing that as strongly as I do. Okay, I believe that for a few different reasons. But a major one is that movies, video games, and art reflect collective consciousness. And for as long as I can remember, movies, video games, comic books, graphic art have been obsessed with transhumanism. We've always had, for whatever reason, this collective desire to experience the merging of man and machine. And that, I'm not saying that I want that, because I don't, but the collective, the God mind seems to have a fascination with this sci-fi sort of thing. So for that reason alone, because I know that God wants to experience itself through all possibilities, that it is likely we will need to have that experience. And I wish that weren't the case. It sounds pretty fucking scary to me, but you know, I'm going to stick with that North Node in Gemini for this one. We don't know what that could be like. There's probably parts of it that would, of course, be terrifying. I just watched an incredibly dark but fascinating podcast on the Higher Side Chats channel here on YouTube about transhumanism. And that one definitely talks about the darkness of it. But potentially there would be a beautiful quantum leap in human consciousness through the experience of transhumanism, even if it was because it was a negative one. We grow through negative experiences. I've had a joke with one of my mentors, Adion, where I said to him a few months ago, I was like, because he and I are we've been connected in so many lifetimes, and we know that to be sure. He's one of those people for me. And I was like, God damn it, Adion, like I already know what's gonna happen. All these people are gonna get the jab, they're gonna fucking merge with machine, and then I'm gonna have to fucking reincarnate back here to help them find their soul again. And I could just see this like galactic mission where like fleets of us come back to like reawaken the robot souls that have been lost to the AI. Like, I mean, doesn't that sound like a fucking thriller movie? Like, I was just like, I already know. Like, fuck. And I would do it, and that's what we talked about. I was like, I love being alive and I love human beings so much. We are so, so powerful as a species, and we can be absolute monsters or we can be absolute angels. And it's all about our connection to our heart and our level of empathy and compassion. I would come back to fight for that. And I'm not one of those people get very bitter about humanity, and they get kind of pessimistic about human beings, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of bad ones out there, but there's so much beauty between human beings as well, between good friends, between parents and their children. And I mean, that love is so much more powerful. So I don't know if there is an end game, because I don't really know if it ever ends, right? But I kind of do see us heading in that direction. But I think that those of us who say no and go deeper into nature I think eventually we might have to get rid of technology. And that podcast on the Higher Side Chats does talk about that these are weapon systems, the computers, the phones, like it's all tracking devices. And that scares me probably just as much as all of you. I mean, this is how I do my work. It's how I connect with all of you. It's such a big joy for me. But at the same time, it's like, where's the line? And when Pluto moves into Aquarius, I'm sure we're going to see more of the darkness around technology. And I just wonder how much longer we're going to be talking to one another like this. I really do. I mean, I think it's always going to be available, but meaning how much longer is it going to be healthy to choose this? Because the addictive quality of technology, I don't know if you guys have all felt that, but that is another real issue that is, I think, impacting all of us. Even I really try to be good about it, but the time that I spend on this thing is just insane. Hopefully AI becomes so smart that it realizes that nature is better. I like that. I think that's totally possible. How could it not? It's the truth. says the Sag on a Sag eclipse. Who knows what the truth is? No, I think that that's true. I think nature is the best. Please do this more often. Thanks, Belle. I think I will. So this person says, my end game is low vibrational energies will leave the earth. They will keep leaving, should I say? Okay. So my thoughts on that are that yes, that's likely inevitable. If you haven't already, I would study the yugas or the cycles of time, how we go through the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, the Golden Age, or, you know, basically we cyclically through thousands and thousands of years go through these longer cycles of the golden age where we're connected to ourselves and each other, and we remember where we came from, and there's harmony and peace and rapid advancements in consciousness and technology. This is like when things like the pyramids were built and stuff like that. And then there's the inevitable and cyclical fall from grace, where we fall back into darkness and we forget who we are and where we came from. And we start to lose connection to source consciousness. In fact, I've done this before, but this book, it's going to be backwards, I guess. It's called Lilith, Keepers of the Flame. Here, I'll just type it. Lilith, Keepers of the Flame. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and it goes into the topic that I'm discussing at length in a very, very beautiful, powerful way. Blows my mind, this book. So yeah, we have these cyclical periods of time where we fall from grace, we collapse into darkness, and we lose ourselves. And this is where the nefarious forces take hold, and we have, you know, the dark ones that are trying to plunge us further away from love and ourselves and of God. And I know that New Age spirituality really likes to say that we're headed into the golden age right away and all that. But unfortunately, looking around, I think, and I don't even know if anybody does know exactly what age we're in, but I know we are sure as hell not in the golden age, and we're nowhere close to it. I think we might be exiting the Kali Yuga, but I'm not sure. And these cycles have happened who knows how many times. I don't know if you guys have been into Tartaria. If you don't know, I'll write that down as well. Tartaria brings up the topic of how many times has history been erased. I firmly believe, again with the beliefs, I firmly believe that we have no idea what year it actually is and where we're at. So to get back to the point, I do think that nefarious forces will leave the earth when we swing back towards the golden age. Of course, it's inevitable. Are we going to do that in this lifetime? We might start that process, and I hope that we do. I don't know what other fucking choice we have, but what I do know is that it's inevitable that we will. And this book is actually called Keepers of the Flame, Lilith, Keepers of the Flame, because the keepers of the flame are us, the people that hold the flame in the darkest point of the journey. And the flame can't be extinguished because it's consciousness. So you can live in the golden age in your mind through connecting to that infinite knowing that we are love and that we're from love and that's who we truly are. But I feel that it's bypassing to pretend that that's happening right now, which is, that's my Scorpio of like, let's go deep, let's get real. Doesn't mean we have to get depressed, but, let's be realistic about where we're at and with what's going on. But who knows, I mean, I'm surprised at every twist and turn. I mean, I've been very surprised how quickly this has all unfolded. I will say that. I mean, I was researching a lot of the deep state and all of that stuff back in 2010, and I'm going to be honest, a big part of me thought that we were going to see the stuff that we've seen over the last few years spanned out over my lifetime. And here it's happened in just a couple of years. So, who knows where we're going to be in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Thank you, Joseph. Just reading a little bit of comments. All right, guys, I'll take a couple more questions and then I'm going to tune out and go write my Instagram posts that I thought I was going to post tomorrow morning. As I said at the beginning of this live, I had a mistake with time zones and I was looking at my calendar thinking that the eclipse was on the 4th, and then I looked at the chart and was like, oh my God, what am I doing? The moon is in Sag, it's tonight. So I've got a lot of work to do tonight. How did things go with the procedure? Oh man, this is a can of worms. Oh man. Okay, I'll go into it. Okay, so the procedure was unsuccessful. For those of you that don't know, I have been struggling with breathing issues for a long time. I have sleep apnea. It's relatively moderate, but it was giving me health issues as well. So I used to have a lot of issues with my tonsils. So they suggested getting them out, which I really didn't want to do. So I took like 3 years to decide to get this freaking surgery. I did a lot of research and ultimately decided to do it because my health was really failing. How I managed to even like get this business up and running during that, I have no idea. And I've been very like, my boyfriend is always like, you need to tell people what's going on. I just like don't really talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I was incredibly sleep deprived for a really, really long time. And so I did it. I got a tonsillectomy. And for anybody out there who's ever considering that surgery as an adult, make sure you exhaust every other option because it was literally just as brutal, if not more brutal than they said it would be. It's a very intense surgery as an adult with about a month recovery period. I wasn't even able to eat solid food for about a month. Anyways, so it wasn't successful. So I'm now working with an orthodontist I'm doing like Invisalign and stuff like that to try to open up my jaw to create more space, which is another really intense journey. I'm using something called an expander, which is expanding my top palate, but it's doing so very quickly. It's putting a lot of pressure up in my jaw and in my mouth. So this is why I'm smiling, and this is why it's really funny. So I am currently going through a transit called Chiron on the ascendant. I'm an Aries ascendant, 12 degrees. So Chiron has made one pass on my ascendant and has now gone back into my 12th and is about to go direct and cross my ascendant again. So Chiron on the ascendant, quick transit astrology lesson. Well, I saw this transit coming years ago and I was like, ugh, fuck. Chiron on the ascendant is going to suck. I don't want to go through this, because Chiron is the wounded healer and the ascendant rules the physical body. It's what other people see and it's your physical form. So using my knowledge of astrology, I saw that transit coming years ago and I went, shit, I'm probably going to go through a massive healing process of my physical body. And Aries rules the head, actually rules from the top mandible up. And so, I had this crazy throat surgery. And so now I'm using this expander on my top jaw. And what my orthodontist didn't tell me until I went in there last week to get this thing is, and maybe some of you know about expanders, I had no fucking idea what this was even just 2 months ago. So basically what it is it's a device that you put in your mouth and you stick a key in there, and every day you turn it one crank and it widens your palate. You follow this with Invisalign or braces to recorrect the mouth. So what she didn't tell me is that over the month that you're doing this and you're cranking it once every day, that your teeth will start to spread apart and that I may develop a huge gap in between my teeth, which will eventually close with braces, but that I might be dealing with that for a couple months. And I have to be honest, I'm surprised how much that is bringing up for me. I've never been a particularly physically confident person, and the wound of Aries, because Aries is bravery, is lack of confidence or being seen, ascendant. So I'm sharing this with you because I'm just never fails to amaze me, these transits, because here is my Chiron in Aries transit, healing confidence through navigating an uncomfortable and vulnerable physical wound. And I have to lean into it and I have to go there. And that's what a Chiron transit is all about. It's not fun. It's raw. It hurts. It's the wounded warrior, and like everything in me wants to just hide and just like not see anyone for 2 months and run away. And I'm actually sharing this with you to hold myself accountable, because I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to share it and I'm going to go through it and I'm going to heal, and I'm going to heal whatever this brings up about my appearance or whatever. So thank you for asking. I'm still on the journey, but Chiron is still on my ascendant. So if I'm being completely honest, I went into that surgery knowing that it wasn't going to be over. I didn't want to believe that, but I know my astrology. And I was like, girl, good luck. But that's how it is. You'd be super cute with a gap. Okay, look, Melissa. I love gaps in teeth. Trust me, I do. But the gaps that these things produce, you could like kick a field goal through this. Okay. Like they're not like a tiny, like cute gap. This is like massive. Like you'd be like, oh shit, did she get punched in the face? Like what the fuck happened? So, but you know what? It is what it is. Fucking my soul like brought this to myself, and I'm going to face it like a fucking warrior, or I'm going to try to. Oh, we got lots of questions. Ooh, where do you think the crypto economy is going with the North Node in Taurus? Well, I think, and we have to remember that Uranus is going to be traveling with the North Node for a while, and Uranus rules technology. So I do have mixed feelings about crypto. We know that the deep state is all up in it, but I'm invested in it and I'm interested to see where it goes. I think that we could potentially see, if there was ever a year where there was going to be a crypto boom, it's next year. Let's put it that way. For sure. Thank you, Jason. Oh my God, Lizzie. No way. Aries Rising Club. Oh. But maybe you are the game changer and you'll get a micro gap. I'm hoping for that, guys. Jennifer, shoot me an email before you get your tonsillectomy and let's talk about it, because I know a lot about it at this point, and I know probably about all, I don't want to say all, but a lot of options for you. And I would definitely think it through. And yeah, shoot me an email, coyotestarrastrology@gmail.com. If you don't mind, tell me what's going on so I kind of like have an idea. Because yeah, it's no joke. But if you need it, you'll be okay. I made it. But you need someone to take care of you. That's for fucking sure. Thanks, Scotty. And thanks, Street Ghost. Okay, scrolling up real quick. Do a couple more. Can you add your email? Yeah. There we go. Uh-oh. No sound? Says that my mic's working. Nice quiet keyboard. ASMR vibes. Okay, someone was, any input on all the Vax craziness? I mean, I kind of already talked a little bit about it. I don't think we should get it. If that's not obvious by now. All right. Any questions? Any more questions before I sign off? There's some people just getting in here. I thought North Node was in Gemini. It is. It is. All right, guys. I think that feels complete. I will do more lives, you guys. Oh, but you know what? I do have one more thing. I'm going to put my Truther account up one more time. And I want to make this super clear. I am just as dedicated to helping people that did get the jab as I am encouraging people not to. And as I come in contact with information around detoxing or around healing, I will be posting them on my Truther account. I have that Truther account so that my other account doesn't get shadow banned. My other account for astrology is Earth to Coyote. I won't be posting about anything related to that on my astrology account. But if you did get jabbed and you're regretting it, and I think that there's going to be a lot more of those types of people, make sure you follow me on Heyoka's Hideout, because when I hear of clinics or centers or healers that are offering services related to that, and there will be a lot of that happening, I believe, I will share it. And I'll make sure that the people that need that information get it. All right, everyone. So I will be doing more lives. Maybe this is actually a good time to talk about this as well. I'm actually going to be starting a Patreon. I've been putting out free content for like 5 years. I've never put ads on these videos on YouTube, because I wanted you guys to just be able to come watch astrology and not have ads in your face. However, with the shadow bans on here and the censorship, it's just getting really frustrating. I don't see myself leaving YouTube completely, but I will be, as of February, making a bit of a transition over to Patreon. I'm going to make it super affordable, something like $15 a month or something like that. I haven't quite worked it out. I want to create a really cool space. I want to be able to merge truthing with astrology. I want to do lots of lives. I want to do podcasts. I want to put less attention into Instagram and all this stuff, and create a platform where I can be myself and I can have a little bit more creative freedom. And I know that certain people are going to be bummed about paying a monthly prescription or whatever, but like, this is a full-time job. This is all I do, you know? So I've just kind of like, I'm using this Venus retrograde in Capricorn. It's in my 10th house. I'm kind of like putting together what that looks like. And it's going to be really good. So I'll be releasing more information about that. And hopefully some of you guys will be interested in coming over there and joining me. All right. I haven't joined the Syncretism Society, mostly because I kind of intuitively knew that I was going to be doing the Patreon or something like that, and I just don't know that I'll have time. I mean, I'm doing readings almost every day, plus these videos. So David Palmer and I are going to be doing a lot more together. He's the best, you guys. If you guys don't follow the Leo King, definitely follow him. He's such a good friend and such a good person, and he's one of the only other astrologers out there that's speaking the truth. And we will definitely be doing a lot more together soon. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening, this very impromptu live. And I hope you guys are having a beautiful eclipse. And I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.